How you guys doing? Eric here. Today is Thursday, April 19th, 2018. It's 420 Eve here in Colorado. That means I'm going to do my annual 420 special today. Talk a little bit about marijuana, cannabis, reefer, weed, the chronic, the devil's lettuce, ganja. See if I could think of any other words. Did I say the chronic, reefer, ganja, weed? And the one they really like to use on the news when they talk about our beloved cannabis plant, they like to call it pot. The world's gone to pot. They always kind of say it in like a derogatory manner, pot. So yeah, let's talk about it, man. Since it's a hugely stigmatized, demonized wonder plant that the powers that be, Big Brother, the government, the fucking major corporations of the world, they don't want us using it, man. Even though it's legal in a lot of places. I say legal, it's quasi-legal, semi-legal really, when you can only have 1 ounce. You can only grow 3 plants. So what's so fucking legal about that, You can have as much tobacco as you want. You can have as much alcohol. You could have enough alcohol to kill your whole fucking neighborhood. And that's perfectly legal. But there's no amount of marijuana or cannabis or weed or ganja that can kill you. You could smoke it till the fucking non-stop for the rest of your life and it ain't gonna kill you. So yeah, it's still, they like to say that it's legal, but it's bullshit. It's not fucking legal. If it was legal, you'd be able to have as much as you want and there would be no problem with it. You'd be able to grow as much as you want. But no, they limit how much you can have. So that you to legally have marijuana, you got to buy it. If you want to have enough to, medicate yourself, which is what a lot of people do. It's a medicine. It's not a drug. I like to think, they like to call it a drug, but really, its effects are medicinal. It helps a lot of problems that people have. And they really demonize it because it makes you feel good. It makes you high. Oh my God. So therefore it's immoral, to use a substance that makes you feel better. It makes you feel good. It gives you a high, So that's one of the reasons why it was always demonized, for a lot of reasons. The alcohol, tobacco, big pharma, and lots of other corporations and fucking industries in America that would lose money because of cannabis, So that's a big part of the reason why they demonized it, like in the early 1900s. Before that, it was like one of the most common medicines used in the whole world. I think it was first where it was really first discovered growing wild, I think, was in Tibet, like in the foothills of the Himalaya mountains is where cannabis comes from. And it was used for a long time for all kinds of purposes, for making clothing and rope and paper. And I think the first people to use it as a medicine was the Chinese. And then from there, it made its way into Europe, and the Europeans started using the Arabs were using it because they didn't drink alcohol, so all they used was cannabis. They started making hash and shit, and I heard it made it so that the Spanish brought it to the States in the 1500s is when it first hit the shores of the New World here, and and then the Indians started using it in their peace pipes, and George Washington grew it, and Thomas Jefferson, and so yeah. And then back in the day, they in the colonial days, they actually, you had to pay your taxes with hemp. You grew hemp, and they used hemp to pay your taxes, and they made the American flag. The first American flag was made out of hemp, and the Declaration of Independence the paper was made out of hemp. So it has a long history, man, in our country. And so in the early 1900s, they started using petroleum to make a lot of the products that they used to make with hemp. That was when they started demonizing it. And then the big pharma and all those other industries, that's when the demonization came in. And for the whole 1900s, it was demonized until like the 1960s, you know. And then when I grew up, you know, I learned a lot of false myths about marijuana that I actually believed for most of my life. Like, you know, that cannabis fucking makes you stupid and lazy. Not fucking true, but one of the most productive fucking, you know, smartest, most productive people I know use cannabis on a daily basis. So that's fucking out the window. You know, they used to tell us, oh, you smoke weed, it turns you into a burnout. Not true, man. It kills brain cells. Not fucking true. It's a gateway drug. Not true. I think alcohol is more of a gateway drug. Perfectly legal. You know, you're more likely to get drunk and use other drugs, like really bad drugs like cocaine and heroin. Those are really bad drugs, as far as I'm concerned. Like drugs like mushrooms and LSD, perfectly safe, even though they've been highly demonized as well, because they make you think outside the box and question the reality that they try to keep us caged into by doing drugs like LSD and magic mushrooms. They demonized those a long time ago, saying that, oh yeah, those kill your brain cells. They don't. It's been proven. They're actually beneficial, those kind of drugs, for depression and for people that are chronically dying. Those kind of drugs really help. But yeah, it's demonized in our society because drugs, like, what do they call them, drugs? Substances like, you know, cannabis, LSD, Molly. It makes you see things that you don't normally see. They don't want to see in that shit. They want us kept in this fucking false reality that, you know, that these drugs are, these so-called drugs are bad for you and will kill you. So because they make you think, and they don't want you thinking in those ways outside of their fucking box. But yeah, so, you know, the demonization of cannabis goes on. And, you know, the thing that really pisses me off about it most is the fact that, you know, a lot of corporations and most of your mainstream fucking businesses and shit, you can't get a job unless you can pass their piss test, right? So, and then they say, oh, it's not that we really care, you know, about marijuana use. It's just the insurance companies, if you can't pass our test, you know, they won't insure us. So they blame it on insurance companies. So they all work together, the whole system, to keep people from being able to use it. And that fucking really pisses me off. And the whole driving under the influence thing is another way that they fucking get you. You know, you smell like marijuana, and if you got a little, even if you're not high at the time, hadn't smoked all day, the cops will still fucking accuse you of it and force you to go take a blood test. You have some in your system, you're fucked. So it's really horrible how these fucking people do the DUI laws and the fucking the employment situation of it ruins the whole fucking legal cannabis bullshit. You know, it's a trap. So yeah, that's my take on 420 this year. You know, every year is a big deal here in Colorado. There's celebrations. There's the Cannabis Cup we have every year, where they fucking give prizes out for the best strains, for the best of each strain and the best specimens. Oh, that's wonderful. But when it comes right down to it, it's still demonized, stigmatized, and it can still ruin your life because you won't be able to get a job and you could possibly get a fucking DUI. So, and the feds can still come and bust you if you're growing it. Also, a lot of crazy shit happens on 420, being that it was Hitler's birthday, I think, and it started out as a police code for people actively smoking marijuana. That's how the term 420 came about. I heard it was a San Francisco police code But it happens to be Hitler's birthday. So did they trick us into celebrating Hitler's birthday, the fucking Nazis? And also, shit like Columbine happened on 420. And every 420, you know, there was a shooting at a 420 rally in Denver. So yeah, so a lot of shit happens. It's part of the whole 420 terror season, I call it, which goes from like 322 all the way to Mayday, 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 which was the day that they fucking killed Osama bin Laden, supposedly. So yeah, that's about all I got to talk about today about 420. My 2018 420 update, 420 special. Despite all the fucking problems with it, man, people still have a good time on 420. Oh yeah, I forgot 2 more words for it that I forgot to mention, which is Pakalolo, which is what the Hawaiians call it, and Mota, which is what it's known as in Mexico. Yep, our wonderful Attorney General Jeff Sessions, he said, good people don't smoke pot. Anyways, I think I'm gonna go stock up on Doritos, Cheetos, pizza, and beer. You're all high on pot. You're just a stupid pothead. Another stupid fucking thing about Colorado's marijuana law, you're not allowed to smoke it in public. That's fucking retarded, man. You can smoke cigarettes in public, in certain places only though. Yeah. The only place you can legally smoke is in your own fucking property. Isn't that fucking stupid? Even though I know everybody I know smokes everywhere they go, so it's nobody really follows that law, but technically if they wanted to, they could fucking destroy your whole life for smoking weed in public. What a fucking stupid fucking country we live in. Look at all those beautiful chemtrails in the sky. All over the fucking place. Lovely. So yeah, that's about all I got to talk about today about 420. I think I got all my ideas out there. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you guys soon. Happy 420. Cheers.